Electric SUV, a lot of space, 6 or 7 seats, and then at a price that is way below the premium competition. This is the Kia EV9. And can this be just the right spot if you want something large and electric? We're going to find out here with Thomas Nautical Fuel in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go. With the front, a very angular look at the cost of a not so good CD value, I have to say, 0.28. But I mean, look at that. It's actually no wonder at all. That's why today in our driving review, we'll also tell you more about the efficiency and the real world range. A beautiful color called Ocean Blue, and this one here is also the matte version. You can get a shiny version or this matte version here. I think the looks is really strong, pretty cool. Look at here, the vertical line of the daytime running light right here, and then this dot structure. Lower part black contrast, and the sensor is hidden right here. The length just a little over 5 meters or almost 198 inches right here. Wheels from 19 to 21 inch. These ones are the biggest one, also with some aerodynamic optimization. Contrasting wheel arches, really massive once again. And look at that. Here they really go for a lot of space on the interior. We can already see that at the exterior. There's either a rear-wheel drive version or an all-wheel drive version we have here today in the GT line, which is also that one here, the sportiest line. 5.3 seconds in the acceleration figure. The rear-wheel drive only version, 9.4 seconds in the acceleration figure. And the top speed is also a little bit varying. In the all-wheel drive model, 200 kilometers an hour or 125 miles an hour. In the rear-wheel drive only version is more like 185 kilometers an hour. Here, the rear design. These tail lamps here symbolize a star map, like the star here. And then there's this, connection between the stars. Do you see it? Anyways, I think it's a very unique way to design it. Overall, this very bold design is also continuing here, also with the silver contrast. And recharging for that, the bigger battery is with the 800-volt architecture and up to 240 kilowatt peak. That means then 24 minutes from 10 to 80% state of charge if you have the ideal conditions. Preconditioning, by the way, does work when you put a charging station in the car internal GPS beforehand. What a lovely key fob. It has this matte structure and is bright. Nice idea. And then when I open the vehicle, you can see here the door handles come out. So a flush door handle then when it's closed. Like this, door closing sound. Really solid, I like that. Everything feels and looks really nicely. Also soft touch here, completely around. Just the lower part and is hard pack as usual. Fabric inserts right here. Then you also have real buttons for controlling the seat cooling or seat heating, by the way. Heated steering wheel, for example. Seat massage is also available. Steering wheel even with hard buttons. So no hashtag capacitive BS. I love that. Here you pick the driving modes, for example. Sport mode, normal, terrain mode, also special off-road modes, for example, available. Right side also for the volume control. And the seats, the whole interior, so steering wheel and seats, is animal-free. And they use the most sustainable materials that are available at this moment. That means they also reduce, for example, the overall impact by using recycled materials or even a bio-based share for the different materials. Overall, 34 kilograms of these materials, recycled or bio-based, are in this vehicle. Interior cockpit overview. So many things to talk about. It's really interesting. First of all, steering wheel, electric, up and down, in and out. I would just wish that it comes a little bit more down. So even I lift my whole seat a little bit up, that the steering wheel is actually not too high for me. But then it actually works and good with all the controls. The gear selectors here, forward for drive, reverse for that. And you start up the vehicle with this button then that is very close to the stalk column. And I love that we here still have manual climate controls, such a good thing, and also the manual vent strength. So there I don't miss anything, that's actually cool. And then this middle screen here, there you always have the climate controls in your, in your side. However, the steering wheel is partly blocking it, so when you're tall enough and the steering wheel is all the way down, then you can see the top part, but maybe not the lowest part here. But I think that's fine. And then two 12.3-inch screens, left and right for the instruments and for the main infotainment. And then this integration here of these hotkeys. So like this, they do nothing. Then you press them in a little bit, maybe not the best feedback, honestly. But then, for example, you can also select a hotkey here, what you want to have as a special hotkey right there. And there's another hotkey on the steering wheel directly. For example, I press this one, and at the moment is talking to rear passengers. I'm not sure if you hear this sound difference here, but now I hear myself, my voice, also in the rear. Michelle can hear me now a little bit better when he's sitting in the rear. So that's a thing, maybe, the parents will know the situation. The kids are fighting in the rear, and then you can have this, "Luke, I am your father." And then children, okay, we're silent. Digital instruments, good overview with the range in the middle part. Also, when you have the car internal GPS, you have something of a GPS view. And you can also get a head-up display. Infotainment system is actually pretty simple with these different tiles and so on, so you can get along with that one very well. Most of the time, probably you will use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. CarPlay integration looks like this. Android Auto integration will also use the full screen, of course. Overall, I'm actually happy with that. It's all you need. Oh, and the manual volume jog, that's also cool to have. Storage, here for example the glove box, interesting, it not only comes down, but also a little bit forward. Have you seen that? Very interesting mechanism. And then here, a lot of space in the lower middle console like this. And also the upper one, you can slide this one open, then have two cup holders. The only thing that does not work that well is when you have very tall, high bottles like this, then they are not kept that tight. It's more thought for really large bottles and so on, or maybe like coffee cups. And you can also push them here and fold them in again, so that's also possible. And then you have here a more open area like this. Then here, there's an inductive charging pad for your phone. When I was driving earlier, by the way, sometimes it did lose contact, but maybe also depends on the case. I don't know, but wasn't ideal, at least the first experience, and some more space than here. But overall then here, for example, also when you close things, and here again, everything resonates very well with the build quality of the vehicle. Here in the lower part, interesting, 12-volt push. There's an interesting mechanism here as well for the 12-volt power supply. This one is USB-C charger, and here you can actually choose between charging only and charging and connecting. Not sure why this is really necessary. Do you know why? And this is then where you put the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto connection when you want to connect it with the cable. So if you connect it via the cable, then it would look like this. I'm not sure if I would put it then here or maybe just put it down there or something. So the cable position is of course not the most ideal. And the solution for that is, of course, wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Kia says they will offer it beginning from December 2023 for all the vehicles. And if you have gotten one earlier, then they say it's also possible to retrofit it with a software update. Here, this back mirror. Let's just imagine you pack everything up to the top in the rear. You also have this possibility here to have the camera mirror. I think also a nice idea. You either have the 7-seater setup as standard or the 6-seater setup, then with the single seats, and you can then get these swiveling seats or relaxation seats to put them down. But the swiveling seats here, they have the advantage, for example, when you have a child seat installed like this, then you put it sideways, you can put the child then here, and then you can easily slide it back like this. And of course, let's just imagine maybe you have a disability or something, then you can also easier get in the rear like this, and then someone can, for example, help you, activating that one here again, and then swivel you around like this. It would be another use case. So at the moment the seat is set to my driving position. I still have a lot of legroom left here, and these seats here, being this captain seat setup, are super comfortable. You can also adjust the back part of the seat like this, and yeah, it's really a great experience here in the rear. I can just say that, especially then with the space in between. And build quality wise, even if we take a look at the inside of the rear door, soft touch here, then you have this manual shade and so on, and it covers all the way here of the window. Everything is really thought through. I like it also here. So I would really say that this is a premium build quality. And of course the kids will also love that here, or in the second seating row. You can easily move around, all the way flat floor, ISOFIX here on both seats. So you're really flexible here already in the second seating row. And we have actually two panoramic roofs. The one in the front has a manual shade. Why not? I'm actually totally fine with that. And then you can actually put some power on, open that one electrically in the front and like this. And the rear one does have a shade. That one can also be slid open here electrically. By the way, we can also slide these seats here forward or backward, and it's also a very easy process. So let's slide it that way forward, that I could still sit here as a tall adult. And then let's move to the third row. Of course, kids can maybe also have a lot of fun when they just, slide through the middle part here with the 6-seater setup. And then you can either press here this button on the top. So that would be the first possibility. The second possibility is here in the lower part. And when you press one of these buttons, then here, this one goes down. And then you can slide this forward here and have the easy access then here from the exterior. So, and then even more exciting, the rear, or the third seating row then, ISOFIX as well, so you can also install child seats here. There's always this discussion about safety, of course, when someone runs on the back of the vehicle. So yes, of course, the second row is in that case even safer. And let's see, when I put the seat forward then here, it is directly possible, especially here, for example, when I put my left knee here, then a little bit in this gap, then actually we can say this vehicle does house, in this case then, 6 tall adults. Let's just imagine this is my second home here in the south of France. Okay, dream is over, I don't have one, but it looks definitely cool here. And then I approach the vehicle just with the key in my pocket, and I just have to wait for the chime, and then the trunk here opens itself when I, for example, have heavy things in my hand and I can't, you get the idea. Even the Hyundai Tucson, that one, I think it introduced that feature here. Pretty cool. Here over 300 liters in both versions for the last part of the trunk. So even then you can put at least some things. And then you have this nice functionality that you can fold the seats, third row and the second row. So we begin with the third row here. Look at that. Electric function. Then you have in both versions 6 and 7 seater over 800 liters. Head restraints just folded. Underneath, some more space, for example, to store the cover here for the last seating row. That is also interesting. And then the length here of the trunk is either 52 centimeters, 20 inches. Then to the second seating row, it's about 125 in meters or 49 inches. And then we can also fold these ones, and this is then the mechanical folding. But how clever is that overall? And the overall length then, I mean, look at that, to the front driving seats. That's like, hardly ever measured that before. That is like almost 220 in meters. Like then here to the end, like almost 85 inches. So that's overall very impressive. And how easy you can actually fold that down. The only thing is the second row, because it's mechanical, you have to fold it up yourself. The third row can be folded up electronically once again like this. I have another surprise for you here in this trunk. So there we have this outdoor surfing setup, and also you can get these rubber mats here that are fitting. So if you want a more, like leisure purpose and so on, you can see here also these covers there for the rear seats that you don't damage them or, when it gets wet and so on. And talking about leisure use or, for example, also as for towing, maximum towing capacity is 2.5 tons or 5,000 pounds for the all-wheel drive model. Rear-wheel drive only model would be only at 900 kilograms. Will it frunk or not? Yes, it does. So here, for example, for a charging cable, or here for the vehicle to load adapter, because you can also use that, for example, then for accessories when going camping and so on, and put that one then where you usually charge the vehicle. So it's also a nice function Kia, Hyundai and Genesis EVs have. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Kia EV9. We put here to the sport mode, all-wheel drive model, from 40 kilometers an hour to 90. Let's go. Plop, that's it. And that one went quite well. Wow, I mean the official acceleration figure here for this all-wheel drive model in the GT line, it has this electric boost, 5.3 seconds in the EU figure at least. This is really impressive indeed. Then here, let's go back to the normal mode. first Autobahn experience here at 70 kilometers an hour in this construction site. We have 21-inch wheels mounted here, and of course you feel that somehow. Looking forward to even more destroyed roads later on. You have a pretty direct contact to the road. If you want more comfort and a softer ride, you would need to go for smaller wheels. Let's test the assistance systems here. So I have all of them activated at the moment. So the active lane keeping assist as well. Also cruise control, distance is being kept, adaptive cruise control, and see here, so far you see some small corrections there in the steering, but actually quite smooth so far. See here, see I guess this slight bend, so I'm not steering at the moment. You're still supposed to keep your hands on the steering wheel. Let's also see when it does give a warning, and then if it is enough that I actually touch the steering wheel, or if I have to move it. So far that goes pretty long without doing anything. That's astonishing. So here, still not. There we go. Keeps hand on steering wheel. Now, there we go. So, capacitive reaction. That's actually quite good. Yeah, I think so far, good job here as for the cruise control. And one more acceleration, 70 to 110. Let's go. But that's it already. Really quick, nice. So you get a very sporty feeling. It is a large and bulky SUV on the exterior, but due to the low center of gravity, battery pack is, of course, as always from these EV platforms, in a very low bottom of the vehicle. Therefore, it doesn't feel as heavy as it actually is. So very quick acceleration, and yeah, especially in that sport mode where everything is also enhanced, but even in the normal mode, it's actually totally fine. And let's do some lane change right here. No leaning at all. It's really nice. So steering input, no dead zone area, pretty crisp and direct. Let's change back again. That feels amazing, really great. I mean, we have seen in the interior part already that has a premium build quality, and this is also a premium ride. Wind noise or noise insulation in general, I feel is really silent in here. It is a very windy day outside here in southern France area, in the Nice area and surrounding, where we are at this moment here on the motorway. So we do hear some wind noise, yes, but it's not that it would, you hear that's also coming from that weather condition outside. So overall, I'm quite happy with that. You know that the CD value is not the best overall, and that's why I'm really interested at the end of the day we're waiting our final consumption. But so far, here now at 110 kilometers an hour, it's like 70 miles an hour approximately. It's reacting very, very well and also super comfortable. So I can very well imagine also a longer journey in that one here. What we can also do is here, some more curvy roads, and once again it feels really nice and light. It's actually a lot of fun to drive. So I wouldn't expect driving fun from such a large and heavy SUV actually, but it does it very, very well and very smooth in the whole driving process. I really like that. It gets a little bit more curvy. We can drive a little bit quicker as well. I mean, there are some dedicated, let's say, sports EVs, or even among the large SUVs. And again, the difference is not that large anymore. And even considering that here, with that driving feeling here, you get this one, what we experience at this moment, for a price that is at least 15, 20, 25k euros, dollars, and so on, under the competition, and that is very impressive. And if you then spec the vehicles, that difference is even larger, and it can be like 30, 40, 50k. So once again, also from the driving, what we experience here is very impressive, especially considering the price. In German prices, 73,000 until 84,000 euros. And now if we compare the competitors, that is very interesting. As for the pricing and the amount of seats on the interior, you could only compare, for example, a VW ID Buzz. Completely different concept as for the whole styling and silhouette and so on, but pricing and space-wise comparable, for example. But then if you think about SUV, large, all electric. There's the premium competition. There would be the Volvo EX90 that also offers this 7-seater concept, or the Polestar 3, the brother that doesn't have the 7 seats. And that one already starts above 100,000 euros or dollars. And if you think about the Tesla Model X, the same. So at least 15, 20, 25k higher in the price. And then if you think Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Audi Q8 e-tron, Mercedes EQE and EQS SUV, or the BMW iX, yeah, the entry prices for their all-wheel drive models with the big battery already 20, 30,000 euros more. But then if you add extra equipment, you can maybe have a price difference to this one here of around like 50,000 euros or something. So you have two thoughts there. On the one hand, people could say, a Kia for 80,000 euros, are you crazy? Who would do that? But then again, people get more open as for switching the brands. Kia is getting, already with the EV6 for example, customers from the German premium manufacturers. And then you can say, hey, okay, I get this one for maybe like 50,000 euros less than the BMW iX and have more space on the inside. That could be a very strong argument. And now the question is, for that price difference, is there anything you get more or what you get less? More in the sense of consistent animal-free approach. Only Tesla is offering that so far in this very segment. The BMW iX offers the animal-free seats, will follow with the steering wheel with the next facelift, for example. Audi, Mercedes, not so much. And then also the build quality on the interior is premium alike. So there's nothing you lose there, for example, when going here for the Kia EV9. What is actually worse, or let's say like not as good as with the premium manufacturers? The lane keeping assist, for example, is a little bit more nervous. So overall the assistance systems are good, but not that elaborated. Suspension wise also, it's a good suspension, but when you get an adaptive suspension or an air suspension with Audi, BMW, Mercedes, that one does ride a little bit better. But it's actually fine here. Also in the driving dynamics, yes, a BMW iX or an Audi Q8 e-tron drives more sporty. It is more agile in the corners. So you have different elements which are better with the German competition. However here, efficiency-wise, it's also actually quite cool. And then once again, you have to think about, you get more space on the interior and that price difference is so extremely large. And the overall performance of this vehicle is excellent. So that my overall verdict is that at this price point and at this size, at this space, this is actually at the moment the best large EV you can get for the price performance perspective. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. And now check out the competitors.